And it is Dave Lawrence doing the Workforce Afternoon. How you doing? I hope you're groovy out there. So when Brother Greg, who's from Onstage Hawaii and Hawaii's After High, he called me up and he told me that he was going to bring out John Waite to play and perform at Pipeline Cafe. But he said there was just one condition, and he said that John insisted, he demanded that he be on my show at this particular time of day because he had an important message for us. Don't you, John?
Aloha! It's John Waite, and I've finally got my chance. I'd like to remind you, you're listening to the one and only Dave Lawrence. And it's that magical time of day. It's 4:20.
Right on the money.
Right on the money, baby.
Your timing is awesome.
Thank you.
A big fan of the 420 you must be.
I live for it.
We
724. Yeah.
Sure, people love hearing that. Welcome to the studio, Dave.
Hey, thanks. It's nice to be here.
It's great to have you. And
thanks for this lay. This is the first one I've had.
Really? Greg didn't hook you up at the airport?
I thought I was going to come out of the airport and get surrounded by like beautiful girls, you know.
What is he doing?
No, I don't know.
Maybe he's saving that for after the gig or something like that.
Yeah, something like the after hours party.
Well, I'm happy to compensate for him, and please allow me to.
It's great, thanks.
You're quite welcome. We gave you some good swag too. I gave you the Newton Neil Young and that Elton John reissue.
Very wind, yeah.
You got to call in a review now after you've enjoyed him. You got to call in and be like, Dave, I wanted to discuss the Elton John that you gave me.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, he's a great talent, and Neil's just like one of my all-time favorites.
That's what you said. You also, when you came in, you had this other cool story I want to touch on. You just saw Elton John, right, the other day?
Yeah, I went to a private party in Vegas about 6 months ago. There was about 50 people, 60 people.
50 or 60 people?
Yeah, and it was just Elton at his red piano, and it was just, you know, the red carpet with nobody on it and no press. It was like absolutely just exclusive, and he played for like 45 minutes. And played all these beautiful new songs and sang his ass off. And I just like, you know, I've never seen him play before, but he was so soulful. It was just, I just got it.
You had never seen him ever?
I've never ever seen him play live.
Now, how did you get the invite to the private party?
I was in town doing something for DMX or one of those Sirius.
Oh, okay. Oh, satellite.
Yeah, I was this big sort of thing on the air they were launching, and I just went up there and sort of guested on the show. And after that, they sort of paid for everything and took us out for dinner. And somebody says, do you want to go and see Elton?
Deep pockets over there at Sirius.
Oh, yeah, they've got more bread than they know what to do with, but they're nice people.
And they took care of you and had you go and see the Elton?
Yeah.
Dude, that's nice.
Yeah, it was, you know, well, thank you, you know.
That's a hell of a... Yeah, that's Carmine's old lady. Leslie works for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I know you heard about Carmine. Yeah. He's going to be on later. Yeah, Leslie.
Oh, cool.
The radio chick. She's on Sirius. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's cool. So they were... so you got to go and you were... And did you meet Elton after?
No, he got up, he just sort of like bolted it. It was extremely, extremely kind of intimate, and then it wasn't. Because I think when he just sits down and puts a cup of coffee down, he gets surrounded by people. I think he gets a bit paranoid about being...
I bet.
You know.
But
he's a very gracious guy, though. I thought that was very nice of him.
How long did he play?
45 minutes.
Dude, you're living large, John Waite.
Well,
What's up with that?
I'm getting around, you know.
You are.
I've been on the road for, you know, a year
forever.
And a half now. Yeah, well, no, forever for this part, but fairly non-stop for about a year and a half. It's been unreal.
And where you? And that's because this The Hard Way came out in 2004, right? So you've just been working it since then.
Just been going for it like hell. We just, you know, but we did an entire tour of Borders bookstores. We call that Babes, Booze and Books. We just like get in the station wagon, me and the guitar player and a tour manager, just drive across America, and we hit these borders and play for like 45 minutes and then meet like whoever shows up. And in some markets it was like 400 people.
A lot of people are doing that now.
Well, yeah. An old friend of mine, Jeffrey Gaines, did it years ago when I was in Bad English. I saw him do it in Cleveland at a Starbucks, and I thought one of these days I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And I thought it would just give us sort of a... some sort of impetus with radio, you know, get into those towns like Cleveland and Detroit. And it went from that to playing 2,000 seaters to doing big festivals to last week we did 2 nights at the Aladdin in Vegas, you know, and then it's just a lot, you know, we're just working, but it's really good fun.
And it all started with a Borders tour.
Well, you know, I would have come out with that record no matter what, but I thought that was going to get me around America the fastest.
A lot of people have done that. I remember a ways back, I remember when Billy Squier did that many years ago,
really?
And it was like a new thing at the time,
wow.
in the late 90s and stuff. I think it's a great way, and then it lets you sort of showcase in a really intimate environment for people.
Yeah, I mean, people come out of the woodwork, and you can also do a morning show, like if you're driving across America, go on the radio and do TV, and, you know, there's very kind of, it's wide open when it's that grassroots. people really go out of their way to see it.
That's nice.
It was really cool. And you just stood there with an acoustic guitar, me and the guitar player. There's no lights, there's no nothing, you know. So in the end, you really start sort of... I mean, I used to have stage fright. And after that, you know, I'd play on top of Old Smokey with a banjo, you know. I just don't care.
And stage fright from before the babies? You had stage fright?
You have no idea. I mean, it's just, you know, you just... I'd be sort of pacing the floor back, you know, at stage, sort of wondering how it was going to go. But you do so much work in the end, it really is second nature. And you'd think somebody's been doing it for as long as I've been doing it, you wouldn't sort of get uptight, but I'd be very nervous about the sound and the band being in tune and if there's anybody showing up and all. And now it's just like I'm having a Pepsi and smoking a cigarette, you know? It just doesn't matter to me.
A Pepsi and a cigarette.
That's me warming up.
The pre-show routine?
Yeah.
Where are you living at these days?
Santa Monica.
Are you?
Yeah.
Has that been your base for a long time?
About 4 years. I used to live in New York City.
And what made you go across the continent like that?
Well, I was burning the candle at both ends in New York City. I'd made 2 records back to back that were my best records, but they did really well. But both record companies kind of came to an abrupt halt, and so it was kind of like one was Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good record, but they changed heads when the record came out, and I was kind of like had a lot of time on my hands. And in New York City, when you've done that kind of work, you want to be on tour, and you're sitting around doing nothing, and you end up sort of having lunch, you know, and just drinking a bottle of wine and then sort of going to the cinema.
Saying I should be doing more.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to get out of town for a while, because a lot of what I write about was sort of like that sort of consciousness. A lot of the new album is actually about New York.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the single was New York City Girl.
And why did you decide to have the acoustic Missing You? That's like a bonus on that.
I went down to Nashville to cut a couple of acoustic songs for the record. We did the Dylan song on it called Girl from the North Country.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful Dylan song. And I booked 4 hours of studio time. Not being, you know, I want to be careful about getting it. But we got it in the first take. And I was stood there with like 3 hours of studio left that I paid for. And the guitar player recommended doing Missing You. We thought we'd just stick it on the European release. And it would, you know, be a nice reminder to Europe. You know, here we go, here it is. But when it came to sequence the record, there's only 8 songs on it.
So it seemed natural to stick it on there?
Well, sonically, it was the only thing that really fit. You know, you saw it saying, oh, we'll stick this B-side on, but the record isn't about that. The record's a very, it's like a bottle of wine or something. It's just like, it's what it is. And it's some of the best stuff I've done, and I didn't want to, like, cloud it with, you know, something that wasn't as good. And if it was going to be 8 songs, then so be it, but I did have Missing You, and I thought, well, you know, after the Dylan song, at least it's acoustic. It's kind of like a sweet thing. And it's very poignant. It's like a country song almost, you know?
Very cool. I was just curious how that ended up on there, and whether it was from a totally different session, much like you just said.
Well, yeah, it was just like, again, you know, the acoustic. I was going to try and finish the album on an acoustic note, and it wound up being a double acoustic note.
Now, have you, it's one of the things about you that makes you kind of unique with our country is you're a British dude, but you were born on the 4th of July.
Thank you. I know. It's, wow. It's, yeah, it's an incredible thing. I mean, the big thing with me as a kid was you know, cowboys and Indians, and it sort of turned into rock and roll. So the biggest things that influenced me were American things.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So you really had a love for Americana from your youth.
Oh, yeah. And when I sort of heard African-American music, sort of slightly later on, like about 8 years old, like Big Bill Brunsey, that was the end of it. I was sort of like, sign me up. I mean, I still think he's a great singer. But Etta James, Otis Redding, Robert Johnson, Aretha Franklin, I mean, just some tremendous singers.
These are some of the things about American music that you love the most.
It's really like the American dream. It's like, you know, it's like Detroit, and it's like sharp, dressed, beautiful black people in this sort of like dream of America.
Like James Brown just coming on stage and looking like the man.
Man, yeah. But I mean, the romance of it set against the urban sort of hardness of it. I mean, it's very truthful, and but it's so romantic, you know, and it's so sexual and full tilt, and it's very sophisticated. You know, it's not like some rap stuff you look at it and just scratch your head and think, well, you know, all right. But these people were sort of like...
There was a lot of nuance and
well, there was like swans or something. They were birds of paradise.
Yeah.
They were just like so cool.
That's cool to hear some of your roots and where it comes from. And I've always known that you really dug our country. When did you move here and actually started living here full time?
Well, we toured here so much. We were sort of like living between the babies. You know, we were living between tours sometimes. But I got married at one point and went home and spent a lot of time in the Lake District, back where I came from. And when I got divorced, I decided to just sort of just start a life again. And the only place I could think of that was going to, you know, inspire me was in fact New York. So I moved to New York City.
There's a little piece of everything going on there.
Oh man, it's the most beautiful city. I mean, it's like an Art Deco city.
I love it very much. I'm going to see Cream there in about a month.
Yeah, you're gonna go and see that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I love New York too. You don't get to sell me on it. I think it's a killer city.
Oh yeah.
I've always dug it.
Oh man, it's just a day there is like being, you know, in some sort of cement mixer. I don't know. It's coming at you from all directions, and it's all important.
That's cool. You can tell you're a real fan. I dig that. Speaking of fans, I do want to throw a question in from one of your fans who called us, and it was Brian from Kapolei, and he was checking in. He was curious of your lengthy career and all the different stuff you've done. What are some of the songs and from different eras that fans can expect tomorrow night at Pipeline?
Well, we touch on just about everything that makes sense. The early Baby stuff is great. I mean, I'm very proud of that. It doesn't seem dated or part of any particular decade, you know.
So some early Babies would definitely be on there.
Definitely, you know, Midnight Rendezvous, Head First, we throw all that stuff in.
Bad English stuff?
Well, we do, sometimes we do When I See You Smile, you know, because it was #1. We really do touch on a lot of different music. Obviously, Missing You, and the new stuff, the new single, New York City Girl, and The Hard Way. But the set really rolls. I mean, it's about the performance and the band.
I'm sure.
I mean, the band is really, really hot. We have they have no keyboards. It's just 2 guitar players. We have
5-piece?
Yeah, with me, it's 5.
Yeah.
But you know, the last show we did at the Aladdin last week in Vegas was just, we burnt the place down. I mean,
nice.
They surprise me, these guys. Sometimes it just goes into high gear and we all run. It's just great. I mean, it's still that much fun, you know. It's and my voice is real tough, you know. I mean, we just did the Jimmy Kimmel show, or I did, with the band about 3 days ago. Got called in to sing with the band just to be on the show.
Yeah.
And I didn't even warm up, you know, the old line of the songs that got in the sound check, and I just came straight in with change, you know, and it's like top of my register, I've seen all these notes. But I've never had as much fun singing as I have at the moment. I mean, it's like the best part seems to have been this part of my life.
That's awesome, dude.
Well, it's like, you know, if the voice wasn't there, or I didn't love touring, it would be a problem.
Now, you have a very distinctive voice. I'm looking forward to hearing how it sounds at Pipeline.
It'll be good.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. I really do appreciate you stopping by. Oh, real quick, because I'm going to have him on the show in a couple weeks. I got Neil Sean from Journey is going to be on in a few weeks. Are you still tight with him?
I see him occasionally, you know. Last time I saw Neil, we were both kind of, I think, drunk. I was playing with Ringo Starr. It was about 2 years ago. I did the Ringo Starr All-Star Tour, right? And I was outside this hotel. We all came back from the gig, and Neil was stood outside the hotel. You know, just that, you're just like, whoa, get out this van with all the guys and Ringo and everybody, we'll just pile out. And there's So we hung out and talked, you know. He's a beautiful guy, I like him, you know.
That's cool.
Nothing ever going wrong with me and Neil. We always got on really well.
So you guys are all sitting there hanging out and talking with Ringo, too?
Well, Ringo kind of like goes, hey, how you doing? He goes straight to his room. It's like Howard Hughes, you know. Exactly. You know, he just runs upstairs and grows his toenails. I don't know what he's doing, you know.
You still talk to him?
Who, Ringo?
Yeah.
No, he disappeared. He just goes, you know, he's a great guy, but he's Ringo, you know.
He's elusive.
Well, no, I mean, we came into a hotel once in Milwaukee. Me and him got out the van. We got to the hotel at the same time. With the tour manager, we just got out the van and he signed some autographs and we came into the lobby. And he's about 5'6", Ringo, and he looks like Joe every guy, you know, and he had a baseball cap on. And
he slips right in.
No, he tried to slip right in. And everybody, it was like, it was one of those movies about, you know, Cuba, when somebody walks into a bar and everybody goes quiet and turns around. I mean, everybody, and there was a wedding going on. There's like maybe 300 people in the lobby, and everybody, one by one, just turned round. And he's trying to get to the elevator, you know, and he's picking up speed. And everybody's moving towards Ringo, you know, and I'm behind him trying to keep up because he's got the room keys, right? And it's like we're both running towards the other, and we stood there, and there's these people coming down this passageway towards us. It's like a flood tide of people, right? And we think, oh Christ, you know, what are we gonna do? And the elevator doors open, and we think, we're saved, you know. And the elevator's absolutely full of people. And you just see them all go, Ringo.
You're stuck out there.
It was like, okay, Ringo, you take this one. I'll be in the bar, you know. It's kind of like
That's good stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, I think he's just trying to stay away from people because everywhere he goes.
I bet it's overwhelming being a Beatle.
There were times on that tour we'd be playing together, and I'd be on stage playing the guitar, and I'd look around, and he'd be looking at me playing the drums, you know, laughing. And I'd just go completely blank. I'd forget what I was playing, you know.
Because you'd see him back there.
Yeah, you
That's
know.
Ringo Starr.
I want to be your man, you know. I want to be your lover, baby. And we're all doing this thing, and it's going, yeah. You know, you look around and you think, wow. You
I'm
know,
playing with him.
Yeah.
I bet.
You know, I'd just go completely blank. I mean, the guitar could turn into like a toothbrush. You know? It's like, who are you? I'm Ringo. You know,
It's because you're a real fan, you know.
Oh, yeah, they moved me deeply. You know, all of those guys. John Lennon, man.
Oh, they should, too, man. That's awesome, dude. Those are some good stories. I'm sure people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, John Waite, for stopping
Dave,
by.
It's very nice to see you, and without the 420, where would we be? Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
You're an animal, dude.
Hey, what are you putting those papers together for?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Hey, what's that? Is that a bong?
We do have Greg in here, huh?
I never knew.
Isn't it time? A perfect one. We'll throw that down to wrap it up.
Good shit, man.
You're the man, John. I appreciate it, dude. Babies on K-Boy 105.9, the Big Kahuna.
Aloha! It's John Waite, and I've finally got my chance. I'd like to remind you, you're listening to the one and only Dave Lawrence. And it's that magical time of day. It's 420.
Right on the money.
Right on the money, baby. Without the 420, where would we be? Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
You're an animal, dude.
Hey, what are you putting those papers together for? Hey, what's that? Is that a bong?